Greetings to all of those who are here, and this is what's going on. Now I gotta just getting stuff done. This is DFG, or the Fact Bringer, the man with the voice of gold. The man is that's cold and a post personality so bold. I bring the facts and nothing but the facts. Ain't that the fact, Jack? And I'm trying to invite folks to come on down and listen to me rant for a few minutes prior to my show tonight. I have a show tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Eastern on the East Coast of the U.S. So I ask that you govern yourself accordingly. I will also be on Facebook and Instagram, as well as YouTube Live. So join me. Contact information is in the my contact information is in my bio. It's for Instagram. It's DFG USL for the number 4, the letter U. Hey, what's going on, Miss Ocean? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am well. I am well. I don't I'm just on live today, just a quick one. I'm just trying to figure out why some of our skin folks don't be kinfolk. Here's an argument. We're talking about was talking about white people can't be racist. I mean, black people can't be racist towards white people. Um,
Yeah.
that's black people can. And my point is, hello, piss Lisa. My point is that can black people be racist? Yes, yes. However, can black people in the United States of America, or have they ever been racist towards white people? And that
No.
answer is no. Absolutely not.
Wow.
Absolutely not. But one of the commenters in one of my strings said that, what about Zimbabwe, Angola, South Africa? What about the white farmers there? I told him that's not racism, that's retribution. Because white people came, colonized, took over everything, and now they're mad because the natives want their land back and stuff like that, and will do the same things that have been done to them. That's retribution. That's not racism. But in other countries, people with the power to do something, yeah, that can be racism. But every time that happens, I don't know if you remember about 25 years ago in Singapore, there was an American that broke the law and he was sentenced to 50 lashes. Because that was the punishment of Singapore. And you should have seen, and of course, Miss Ocean, what color do you think he was?
I mean, with lashes.
No, he was actually white. He was actually a white kid from like Missouri or somewhere like that. First name was Mike. I can't remember his last name. But the U.S. government was trying everything in their power to compel another nation to not pass that judgment on him, because he did graffiti in Singapore, and in Singapore that's illegal, and they will punish you. As well as if you chew gum in Singapore, you can be arrested.
Yeah.
You can be arrested. So it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're not Singaporean and you get caught up doing something, you suffer the consequences. But the majority of white people in our country were saying that. And what's going on, Brad? The white people, the majority of white people in our country were saying that that's racist. That's not racist. That's actually them enforcing the law. And what would they say about us? If you didn't break the law, he shouldn't be. If you wouldn't have broke the law, he wouldn't have got punished. It doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to work like that for them. But can anybody give me a historical example, any historical example of when black people did racist things to white people? Not racial discrimination, racist.
Well, I mean, when you say racist, you have to choose another word because the definition of racism is exactly that. It's a discrimination against color,
Yes.
So,
Yes, but the connotation is it's not the definition is the definition, and that's true.
yeah,
Technically it can be, but the connotation gives it gives context to the meaning because I can call white people all kind of names. Is that bias? Is that prejudice? Yes. But
right.
if I call a police on a white person, oh, I see somebody. If I call the police on a white person walking down the street, and the police come, and what do you think? Do you think that person will get arrested or even accosted?
Depending on what they did, probably not. I mean, the thing is, what you have to understand that when it comes to especially color in my family, and I don't know if you've what content of mine you have seen, but my children are white, and my ex-husband is white. And the funny thing is, when I first came to America, I didn't realize I was my color.
No,
I had no idea.
because you were. And are you from Great Britain?
I'm from Germany.
You from Germany? Oh, you from Germany?
Yep. So,
Wovon Sie?
oh, ich bin aus Kejabula. Yeah.
Klein, klein.
My world, is it?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
listen, to my
yeah,
heritage,
yeah.
I don't speak German. Never ever
Well,
descent,
that's
actually.
that's my
Yeah.
native tongue.
So saying that, and I know you're from Germany, and Germany has their own history and issues, but there was a lot of there. I was like, I used to tell people when I was stationed there back in the '90s. I said, I love Germany
Yeah.
because I could be a black man
Yep.
driving a BMW,
Yep. And
and
nothing happens.
the Polizei will not pull me over
Nope.
because I'm driving
That's
a
what I'm
BMW.
saying. When I first came to America, I didn't stay because I learned what racism was. And you know, Americans have always said, "Oh, Germans are awful people. They hate the Jews and they're racist." I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that is just not true. I did not experience racism until I came to United States. That's when I realized I was black. That's when I realized
Yeah,
I
and
had
and
color.
and the thing is, and this is what people who've never left this country don't understand.
Yeah.
There's racism everywhere.
Yes.
However, but it's it depends who you are because as an American, as a black man from America in Germany, and who can well, I'm gonna say pigeon. I can pigeon speak the language. I used to be conversational back when, and if I have a couple of adult beverages in me, I can be conversational. but but the thing is that you know when I open my mouth, because there are Africans of Germans of African descent there, plenty. I knew a ton of them. We used to
Yeah.
go to church all the time. However, when I opened my mouth and they heard my accent, even when I spoke German with an American accent, they said, "Oh, he's American,"
Mm-hmm.
and the attitude shifted. But if I was Turkish, I would. I would.
Yep. Yes. Yes. That is true.
But that was. I understood. So when I came back and I was tell people about this, they look at me like I was crazy, and they
Yep.
wonder why so many soldiers stay over there. Why so many say, why whereas wie ist Ihr Alter?
Ich bin 51.
Oh, okay. I'm 58.
Really? Okay.
Well, 57.
Okay. So we're about the same age.
Yeah. But
But yeah, like I said, when it comes to racism, I thought, I received it mainly from the white people over here. But then I didn't know who my father was, my real father, and I met him in 2001, and he introduced me to his side of the family. And I very quickly learned that racism does, in fact, exist in every color there is. My dad's family did not accept or tolerate my ex-husband. They told me that he is not welcome. He was not allowed to come into the house or on their premises, for that matter. They were in Washington, Georgia, and yeah, they kicked them out.
I
They
know
said,
exactly where Washington. I've been through Washington. Been to Washington, Georgia, on my way from Augusta, Georgia, to Athens, Georgia. It takes you
"Yep, yes, I lived in
State Route
Athens.
78 takes you
Yes,
right through there. I mean US 78. Yes, I'm well familiar with Washington, and that's it's a pretty small town,
it
and
is.
Georgia is a whole different, in my opinion, Georgia is a whole different country.
It
But
is.
that's
It is. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, I was visiting my oldest daughter not the other day. When I say the other day, guys, it could be 2 years ago. Don't listen. I was visiting my daughter. I was living with my son in Georgia for a little while, and I went into I think it was HEB. I don't remember. It was some kind of a grocery store, and there was a
it
little
probably was
girl.
it probably was Publix, because HEB is not east of Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I don't remember. It was some little store. And when I went in, a little girl was in my way, and she said, "I'm sorry." She said, "Oh, excuse me." And an older gentleman, I'm assuming it was either her brother or her father, kicked her in the booty and told her, "We don't talk to N."
Yeah, that's
I was like, "Excuse me, what?" So I just looked at him and I told him in German, "Du bist doch das größte Arschloch, das hier rumläuft, aber ist ja auch egal." So I mean, that's when I take full advantage of my
and,
language.
and then he probably looked at you like, what?
He did, he did. He said, in German, I said, "I'm sorry, I do not talk to ignorance." So,
It said you know, Rouse.
that's,
Rouse.
yes, yes. And the thing is, I guess what really broke my heart was that little girl naturally reacted when she moved out of my way. She had
Yeah,
no hate in her. She had no hate in her, and yet here we are. She's going to be taught to do exactly that.
exactly, and
That's
it's
hard.
the problem is that, you don't it's ignorance, because we're undereducated. If the difference between most European nations' education and U.S. education is that most European education, they like the German track. You have the academic track and you have the vocational track when you're in secondary school. Here, they used to have that up until the late '70s, and then yes, industrial
So many
arts,
people had jobs.
yeah,
So they
industrial
cut that out.
arts, industrial arts, and home economics were taught in public school up until like the mid '80s, and those were the first programs that were eliminated under President Reagan at the time, because and a lot of those programs, they're talking about bringing a lot of those programs back, because not everybody needs to be a college graduate.
Right.
That would be, because even if everybody, a friend of mine told me years ago, even if everybody in the United States got a college degree, a bachelor's, a master's, a PhD, you still need people to sweep the streets. You
Yeah.
still need people to take the trash out.
Street sweepers. That's
Yes.
But
that's what
but
you do with your English degree. That's
exactly. So
become a
so
janitor at a school.
exactly. So the biggest thing is that an educated populace, an informed populace, doesn't take trash that's given to them. If you're undereducated, you're kept underpaid, you're not you're not fully healthy, and the stuff that you ingest is full of chemicals that are banned in like 70 countries across the world.
Right. Right.
You're easier to control, and that's why racism persists, because the people with the means and the resources tell the people, the non-melanated people, the un-BIPOC, that I don't care how poor you are, you're still better off than a person of color.
Well, that's how they set it up. There was a time when there was no race. People were just from Germany or England or Africa, or naming a country in Africa, of course, because that's ridiculous. And you're just from where you're from. These are the people that you are. You're Italian, you're French, you're this, you're that. Nobody said you're black, you're blue, you're green, you're yellow. They just said, this is where I'm from. And so flash forward, you begin to steal people and buy people from Africa to bring them here and make them slaves. And you have Europeans here that are indentured servants. And those indentured servants, they're slaves with rights.
Right.
Because they're doing the same back-breaking work. But in 7 years, they're out of here. And they get a little stipend to go on their way, possibly an internship from the owner, and a new set of clothes. That's what they got. We got nothing. We got dead. That's what we got. Slavery, we got dead.
The main catalyst for that was Bacon's Rebellion, where in, I want to say, like 1680 something, there were poor whites and they were all indentured servants, both white and black. What happened was after John Bunch became a slave for life, in 1664 there was the Casual Killing Act, to where if a white person can kill a black person with impunity, because they didn't listen. And then they said, well, white people can still be indentured, and once your terms are up, you get, you go on and do great things. But black people, you are property for life.
You're forever and ever. And your ancestors will be as well.
Exactly.
So you're never free. You're not free when you die. If you left something here, it's still mine.
And actually what they did to justify it, it's in the Bible. It's in the I want to say it's in the book of, not Ezekiel. It's in one of the books of 5 books of Moses, or as they say in Germany, fünf Bücher die Mose.
I took German in junior high school, so I understood 1 out of every 15 words you said.
But saying that is that they justified it because it does say people that not of your kin or clan or tribe, they're not Israeli. They say you could keep them and will them to your family, will them to your children, because they are your property. And that's what they use to justify black slavery.
There's a big faction out there that claims that they're not referring to Jews as we do now, that Israelites were not in fact Jews. Now, I don't know what I'm talking about. I just overheard this recently, and I've been meaning to look it up, but since you brought that up, I just wanted to mention it. Maybe you know something.
Jews are not synonymous. Yeah, they're not synonymous with
children of Israel, so we are Israelites.
Well, it's I'm gonna say it's kind of convoluted, but I'm gonna try to simplify.
Please do, because I was like, what?
The people in the Bible were not originally Israelites. They were Hebrew, for the word out of the word Hebrew, meaning over the river.
Yes, they were.
So when they came to Kemet, to trade, they were traders. They were considered outsiders, or harabu. As they got along, they were, they intermixed and intermingled, and then they became the tribes of Israel after years. Jacob, Abram became Abraham, Jacob, Isaac. Isaac, Jacob. Jacob became Israel. After the wrestling with an angel for the for the night, when the angel dislocated his thigh, said, okay, you're no longer Jacob, you're Israel. And then his 12 sons. See, and this is what people understand.
Yeah.
They in the Bible, they only mention male relatives because heredity came through females, but lineage was male. So that's why, the heritage came from Jesus,
That's
who
why it
came
was so
from Mary.
necessary to have a male heir.
Right. So with that, you had a bunch of folks. That were part of the nation of Israel, but they weren't considered Israelites, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But you mean like we're not considered Americans?
Right. Exactly.
Go back to where you came from. You first. I was here first.
Exactly.
I
So
got here in the 1600s. I don't know what you're talking about.
Judaism was an offshoot because most of the other people, the other tribes around them, the Ishmaelites, because if you go biblically, Israel wasn't the first child. The first child was Ishmael, and that's who the Arabs and the Muslims.
Okay, now I'm hearing. Because when I was listening to that, my brain couldn't catch it. I was like, what in the, is he talking about? I don't know.
Yes.
So I needed it slowed down for me a lot. So I could.
Okay. I got you. Because it's the Ishmaelites. That's who most Arabs and Muslims claim they're from.
Yeah.
So they're technically part of the nation of Israel, but they weren't. And the Lord told them, the Lord Yahweh, one of the minor Egyptian gods that was elevated, but that's a whole can of worms that I'm
deep and fantastical.
Yeah, I'm not. I am not.
You're not prepared to go there yet.
Yeah, and I'm
Let's
not.
do some reading and do it.
Right, I'm not knowledgeable enough to go deep to do a deep dive on that. But
now, did you understand that there were the first and original Bible is still in existence in Ethiopia?
In Ethiopia.
Yes, and that it was written by I can't think of what the people were called then, but Ethiopians essentially.
Ethiopian is actually a Greek word meaning burnt skin. No, seriously.
That's why I'm laughing, because that makes it wonderful to me.
Because what we call Ethiopians descended from Cush.
Yeah.
And you had Cush, you had Nubia, and they all were under the kingdom of Kemet, which is modern day Egypt. So if you have burnt skin in comparison to your neighbors, to me that sounds sub-Saharan African. But
absolutely.
I'm not a genealogist, nor am I an anthropologist. But
speaking of genealogies, and the reason I'm throwing all this out here is because we haven't spoken, but I've been following you everywhere and reading everything. So, so I knew one of these days I'd get a hold of you, and I just wanted to drop a whole bunch of stuff down so you could pick it up at some point and run with it. So that was one of the things I definitely wanted to find out what you thought about. And the other thing was, recently I've heard several scientists, white scientists as it just so happens to be, say that, while we were busy looking for the missing link and all of that kind of stuff, and so they ran DNA and they discovered that all Europeans have 1 to 3% Cro-Magnon man in their genetics. Right. And no black people do.
No, and another thing is that, European skin is a genetic mutation from
Yes,
the original skin. That's not conjecture. That's
that's fact.
actual.
Yeah.
It's a genetic anomaly that allowed them to stay in colder temperatures
And,
and
and
them
as my
being
husband says, be burned by the sun. Yeah.
and Neanderthals in before they did deep research, Neanderthals were considered stupid, unintelligent. But
And
then when they
hence they
found
were
out that
attached to us.
right, but then when they found out that they had zero, they had that most Europeans had 1 to 3% Neanderthal. Oh, they were smart.
So now it's amazing what they did with those tools.
Exactly.
And that was not
Exactly.
to get eaten by all the dinosaurs.
Exactly. So there are different things that we deny or people deny about our history in life and our presence on the globe. But that's not going to happen. We probably won't see it for another 100 years before the global majority takes over.
Well, that's the thing that's so frightening to them. But the truth of the matter is, we have never been like them.
No,
And the thing, that sounds really racist, and I don't appreciate hearing it out of my own mouth.
no, but
But
that's
it's
not
a
a
factual thing. I mean,
right.
it
But that's
just
not,
is.
and that's what makes Kendrick Lamar's song "Not Like Us"
Yes,
so
and
powerful.
we aren't. We, when I was a little girl, I remember asking my mom what she did when the big stock market crashed, because I was in third or fourth grade and we'd learned all about it and people jumped out of buildings. We saw a movie, So I came home and I was like, Mom, in the stock market crash, and what did you do? She said, nothing.
Because it really didn't. It
Weren't
really
you poor?
didn't.
She goes, no.
Yeah,
We had farm. That's what we had. We had animals, and we had land, and we had vegetables and fruit trees. And she said we were pretty wealthy, considering, because we didn't need money. Nope.
exactly,
Money wouldn't be. Nobody could pay for anything. We just gave people stuff. And
exactly.
that's a thing that we are that they don't necessarily have as a group. We're that way as a group. You
But
can
that's
hit the hood, and people are so afraid of something. And an area of town, say, and you can walk in there and say help, and someone will stop to help you, not stop
yes,
to rob you, not stop to kill you, or all the things they actually think are happening. They will
right.
stop and help you.
So here's the thing is that most of in the history of the U.S. most laws couldn't free or enslave could congregate or be together or speak their language
Yeah,
or and
that's
if you look at my
that was
page, you're looking at
totally based on fear, because if they're talking
right.
about us, they know that we are not. They already know that there are more of them than us. So if they can all talk together, we're out of here.
Yes, but we're not. A young lady said it back in 2020. Said, just be glad we're not. We just want justice and not revenge.
Well, amen. That's true, and
And
that
that
is by and large. I mean, there's sometimes when I get angry that I do have what do you call it when you light your field on fire so it can so that the earth can rejuvenate some kind of way. I mean, I don't know diddly. I don't know diddly about farming, but it's that scorched earth thing where you just take it all out. I keep thinking
yeah,
God is getting ready to drop a big. He said no water. He didn't say no fire, and it's getting hotter and hotter. And I'm like, we're we're getting closer to a scorched earth mentality happening around here. But I just think people are so, they can
yeah,
distract us in this country in particular. I grew up traveling, so I know a little bit about everywhere. So I grew up in Southeast Asia, where you have to pay to go to school. So poor people don't get past grade school. They had to pay, higher education, more money. And if you didn't have that kind of money, then you didn't have
right.
that kind of education. So I, and in
Right.
this country, I know that they're
But
trying to
that was by
lean in that
design though.
direction. They're trying to lean in that direction, and
Yep.
they're doing it by piece, taking away the education and the educational system. You know, they want to
Yep.
teach you fantasy land and sing Ring Around the Rosie and go home for the day and know that 1 plus 1 might be 2, but it could be 11.
Yes. And that's why I go back. That's why I go back to they want us dumber, they want us sicker, they want us poorer,
Yeah,
so that way we're easy to control.
yeah. But think about
You see my page. You see that thing on the page is from the Smithsonian.
yes.
That was that was one of my relatives. That was my great grandmother's first cousin, Dr.
Oh
Lorenzo Dow Turner. We also so he was instrumental in documenting the foremost expert when he was alive on the Geechee
no! Oh
Gullah
yeah.
culture. So his grandmother, his grandmother was my 5-time great grandmother,
Oh
and she was born free, and her mother was a white woman who had married a slave, Jacob Brady, in
and then when was she killed? Because how did that
1760,
happen?
about 1760. So before the country was a country,
Yeah.
my ancestors were free.
So are they because similarly, a certain portion of my family was too. In fact, they established like the first black church, and and there was a member. There was a slave brought from England with my great 6 times great grandfather. Came from England with the slave woman and his wife, and they had children together, not the wife, but the slave woman and the man. And so as he got older, you know, and they were like, well, you know, you're getting older, you have to decide what you're going to do. And his wife actually wrote a book in which my ancestors are mentioned quite a bit. And because they were, there was a lot of cause for concern because he was like, you know what? I don't see that this is humane. There's nothing humane about what we're doing. This isn't good for them. They're intelligent, thinking, doing, being people. And we're treating them like they're dogs and cows and sheep and stuff. So,
Yep.
and he said, I'm not going to, nobody's going to inherit these people. These people will be free. All of them. All of them.
Now,
And
where were
so
your people? Where were your people from? What did they in the
uh,
States?
these particular people
Yeah.
were from Virginia.
Well,
Actually, the whole darn lot of them were from Virginia on my mom's side.
I'm
And
saying, in
my,
what part of Virginia?
the Loudoun County, you
Okay,
know, where all
okay.
the money is now.
Yeah, no, that's where I am now. I'm in
Oh,
Prince
you know,
William.
you're really close by.
Yeah, I'm in Prince William. So yeah, because my people were down there in the late 1800s.
We
They
could
were,
be related.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. In the late 1800s, my people were in Norfolk. Before that, they were in Gates and Possaquan County,
Oh man.
North Carolina. Um, my his father, Brooks Turner. Brooks Turner he started a school. He didn't get educated until 1865 when he was 20 something years old, and he got a degree from Howard University. Came back to North Carolina and opened a school in Elizabeth City called called the Turner School. The Turner School was the foundation for what is now Elizabeth City State University.
Wow.
So my family has a lot of history in that area.
I'm meeting more and more people of color that have ancestors that some part of them were never in shackles. They
Right.
may have been shackled by laws, etc., but they were never anybody's slaves. And because that 6th great grandfather let those people go, and he took his daughters and his son to Ohio. and bought that farmland that when the stock market crashed and whatever, that's why everybody was still eating, because of that land.
Right.
And
Right.
it's a small community in Ohio that was so small they didn't have segregated schools. I'm talking about in the 1800s,
Right.
early 1900s, there was no segregation because there are no black neighborhoods. There's no black nothing, just the people that are there.
Right.
You know, we're all people, and for all we know, we're cousins, and that's a fact. And they're like, it's kind of
Yeah.
lots of blood flow back and forth. So they don't have the same kind of racism that America is engulfed in right now. There are lots of conversations. There are lots of, because people don't understand each other.
Right.
Why are you so angry? That was so long ago. Why are you mad at me? Because you're too stupid to acknowledge it. That makes us angry. What if I just drive over your foot with my car? And I say I didn't do it on purpose, so why should I apologize? Because you're hurt. That's why I should apologize. Because you've been wounded, because you're damaged because of it. Because your family's livelihood is going to be affected by the fact that you can't go to work. And your answer to this is forget about it. I can't, because I'm still suffering from, I still see those symptoms everywhere. I might not particularly be suffering, but that is, was a blessing from the gods. It wasn't, it wasn't an across the board thing. So I get mad about that. I'm like, I don't understand how you can't see, how people can see it for the Jews. They can understand their generational pain, but we shouldn't have any. We should, and because after all, we learn things by being slaves. I hate that one especially, because we learned things you didn't know about keeping your breath fresh until you came and got savages. Okay?
Yep.
We
Or
taught you
being
how to care for
clean.
your teeth. How about that? I mean, just basic everyday things, how to bathe properly, how to be clean. Who was it that said, I'm always reading, looking, watching something. And a white man said, I hate being near black people. And so the person was like, why? I don't even understand what you mean you hate being there. He said, I can't stand being in the same room with them. And I said, why? And he says, why not? And he said, because they smell too clean. They always smell like soap and perfume. And I never laughed so hard in my life. I was like, you idiot. They smell just like soap because they take baths when they go. Before they come out, they usually take a bath. The other guy was laughing at him, and he was like, it's true, man, it drives me crazy. And this was a current person. This was not some idiot from 1958. This was some idiot from 1997.
Right.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard. Oh my God, now we smell like soap. First we were dirty, now we're too clean.
But that's what happens, though.
Ain't it though?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry I took all of the.
Oh no.
I took all of your talking away.
No. That was that
But
actually.
I did try
needed
to
that.
talk to you, and I cannot believe you're relatively close by either. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, I just want to dealing with people like Booker, the first class Negro, who I don't know what his malfunction is.
He doesn't love himself a lot.
Nah, he doesn't have to, but don't say stuff that's not true. And there,
What
and
is
people.
that? There's enough truth out there to sting and stab everyone.
I agree.
You don't have to make up stories.
I definitely agree. But that's how
Trump's black now because he's got a record.
Yeah, that's
And
the
they're
point.
coming to take black jobs.
Yeah, what is a black job? Can you point me for him? Because I don't think I have one yet.
And everybody, all the Republicans that were questioned on the news are stumbling and choking, and trying so hard to say it. You know what they mean. I can't remember who it was, but he was like, you know what they mean. And the newscaster said, no, I don't.
But you gotta,
What are black jobs?
yeah.
I say, y'all niggas know exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm a Spades book counter. That's a black
exactly.
job. A potato salad quality taste tester.
I think that requires a little bit more education than we're allowed to have.
I know, and also Uncle Ear Bluetooth battery checker. Because it got to make sure Unc's sandals are straight.
That's right. Got to get them together. I just and why don't they know? I think when I lived out of this country until I was about from 6 to like 16.
Mm-hmm.
So and the only time I came back here was to visit relatives in Ohio one summer. So I was out of America effectively for 10 years. And so when the other lady was saying how she didn't really recognize racism, I didn't either. And I know what she was saying by having it feel like it comes from all ends. Because for me, I'm fair skinned, and so for black people, they were like, why do you look like that? And why do you talk like that? It took me a decade to learn how to talk black.
Yeah, I always say, and it's funny. It's funny when I get hit with the articulation argument.
Oh,
you're so articulate. I say, so you're saying I'm sounding white, right? So do I sound like Mama June or Honey Boo Boo? They're white.
Exactly. They're my twins.
Exactly. So yeah, what does white exactly sound like? No, that's not. Yeah,
exactly. I have a friend, and he's a hardcore burn down the woods redneck. A good one, but doesn't change anything. He's still a redneck.
Right.
And every time we're talking, he always says, it never ceases to amaze me that I talk blacker than you. I said, I don't know why it's amazing. I wasn't raised here. I wasn't raised around a bunch of black people. In fact, people used to say to me when I met my first really big group of black people, because my family is super stirred up in a bowl. Anybody's liable to come out any kind of way. We got
right.
We got all and everything, including Asian and Native, and pick someplace. We got one of those.
Oh, yeah, no, I got you. I got them all too. But but
a lot of us work that way.
Right, but the thing is though is that we're just more accepting, and that's just a fact. That is a fact.
Because my grandma used to say, my children are a flower garden. You better not say nothing else to the contrary, because she was also crotchety and grumbly. So not too many people disagreed with her and lived to tell the tale. So.
I got you. I got you.
She was rough, but people and their ignorance and their lack of desire to know is what kills me. Don't you want to know? Look, my kids, when I was still married and my kids were still young, I would sit down with them, and because when I got back to this country and was in high school and everybody in high school here was stupid, that was amazing. I was like, why are they stupid? They don't know
Well, they weren't. They're not. If you don't have a certain lineage, you're not getting educated. You're getting indoctrinated.
That's when I learned that, and that's when I started going to the library. Remember those? And getting book after book after book, and reading everything I could about slavery and black people and blah blah. Blah. And I made my kids do it too. And I did it because my kids were privileged and they had the opportunity to go to better schools and expensive schools. That's what that translates to. So,
yep.
Mommy can't have a Mercedes because this Toyota has to last at least 8 more years while he gets through school. But anyway, it was worth it. They're both brilliant and wonderful children. So I have that. Yeah, I made my kids. I was like, no, no, no. My daughter comes home one day and she was talking about, and I said, well, sometimes non-people of color are this way or that way. And she goes, Mom, those times are dead. And I said, oh, my sweet baby girl. I'm so happy to hear you feel that.
Yeah,
But that's
but
not true.
that's
And
not
she
life.
goes, all of my friends, we're all friends and nobody cares. We all listen to each other's music. And I said, there's more of them than you. A lot
Right.
more of them than you. So you're
Yeah.
easy, Ed. She's got that long hair and what is she anyway kind of look about her. So
Right.
she's comfortable to them. She doesn't have braids with beads hanging on it. Well, she did sometimes, but the point is, that wasn't her normal style, so it wasn't scary. I like your hair better when it's straight. I know you do, but get over it.
I got you.
Don't. So, but and she said, Mom, you just don't know that it's not the same. And I said, sweetheart, let me tell you something. My friends weren't the same either, but their granddaddies were. And guess who was giving out jobs? Granddaddy.
Exactly.
Your friend is not going to be the one to get you a job. It's his dad or his dad's.
Yep.
Gonna say,
And
come work for our company in the basement where you can't be seen, or
if you
on
look
the main
like
floor
that,
where you can't be seen.
Yeah.
That all depends on his lineage.
this is true.
That depends on who his family is. And he may take one look at you and they might think things about you, but it won't be, let's make her rise to the top of the, because she's such a wonderful, smart girl. They're not thinking that, I guarantee you.
Exactly.
Especially if you also have the curse of being an attractive black woman. That's almost a curse. It gives people the right to touch you, say things,
Mm-hmm.
Be overly familiar, and you're supposed to act like it's just fine. Excuse me, sir, why are you touching me? Oh, my ass. Oh, excuse me. People just do any kind of, when you're a decent looking woman, people have a reaction to you that isn't right. And
and that's the thing is that you're right. Is when you don't fit the stereotype, they look at you kind of different.
Yep.
And they treat you different.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, where did you come from? What, is your father white? And then people used to ask me this, which I never told my mom, but I told my dad because my mom would have burned the school down probably. But she was a little temperamental sometimes, like her mother. So people used to ask me all the time if my mother was my maid.
Oh gosh! No.
Can you imagine a really uppity black woman saying, "Here"?
Oh, I know
that's what she would have been. Is real uppity.
Yeah, that's a. But uppity means somebody who doesn't know their place.
Yeah. But she would know yours.
How dare you ask me to treat you with respect? Respect you as a human being.
How dare you being so uppity? I can treat you any way I want. You're nothing and you're no one.
Exactly.
She would have raised. But people used to ask, I'm talking about grown-ups. I had kids ask me too, but I have a sneaking suspicion that kids got that from grown-ups. It's like, is that your maid? Who? Oh, who are they talking about? No, that's my mother. Are you crazy? Dad, the people down the street called Mama maid. What did she do? I said she didn't hear it. We had priests call my dad at work. Priests saying you have to come get your wife because I think she's going to try to kill a nun. So, oh my goodness, I'm sorry. That just gave me a memory of her that you know how you embarrass your children. And oh my God, she was a doozy. And the rest of the time she was so genteel and, kind and thoughtful and thought-provoking, and she had all this conversation, and she loved crossword puzzles, but say the wrong thing, and she was a whirling dervish. And she just went from all that sweet gooiness to boom, right. And I was like, Dad, why did you marry her? She's crazy. He's like, you better shut up before she hears you. You better. He said, because she was the cutest little thing I ever saw. She had all. He was a big guy. And she was a little teeny thing. So all of that big bluster.
Right.
He said it just thrilled me to no end to watch her. No, so I was like, yeah, I can imagine that would be okay. But he said, you're just like her. No, I'm not. I won't be swinging at nuns. I guarantee you. I won't do it. I'll just have him call you ahead of time. He said, we're going to have a hard time finding you a husband. You know that, don't you? I don't want one. How about that? I don't. See, and he was like, see, you're just like your mother. You wouldn't be here if she could have had her way.
I got
She
you.
got married because she had to be married. There are things you just didn't do without marriage.
Right.
And now that you guys can do all of everything without marriage, why bother? I said, that's kind of how I feel about it. But of course, we're Catholic, so I'm telling you what you won't do. You won't be not married when you have children. I know that. I know, Dad. I know. The talk was good, but you. But I lost the battle in the end. And then when my kids got older, I got divorced. My dad said, "Oh my God." So I had to take care of my parents when they were both dying. My dad had Alzheimer's, and my mom, about 12 years after he passed, she passed. And then, so she's been gone for about 15 years, and he's been gone for 25 or so, something like that. But I just had my first big cry about my mother about a week ago. A week ago. She's been dead for, I just lost it. I was in the house and I found something. I found her. She was a USO showgirl for colored troops during World War II, unbeknownst to her family.
Oh, wow.
She was in Chicago going to school. That's what she was doing. Not. Anytime I did something wrong, I was like, but yeah, look what you did. I never even would think of doing that. She goes, that's your problem. She was a USO showgirl. And I was like, Dad was like, I told you she was a pistol.
Enough, right?
Listen, you're laughing just like my dad laughs when he talks about it. He got the biggest kick out of her. And yeah, so she was all kinds of wow. And so I was looking at old pictures and thinking of things my dad said about her, because I know one time I said, how come you haven't choked her to death? She was screaming about something. And needless to say, I'm a daddy's girl.
I got you. Hey, what's wrong with that?
Because you couldn't say that typically to a parent. Why can't we just kill the other parent?
Right.
Because I want to be in a corner and be peace. Can't we just go listen to some jazz in the basement, Dad? She won't shut up. She just keeps talking. She keeps on. He goes, I know. Go ahead. Go get a book or something. Go sit in my chair. I'll be down. I'll bring her some ice cream. Okay. She wouldn't even
That's
talk
what's
to me,
up.
but I just couldn't take it.
Hey, trust me, I understand. I definitely understand.
And I said, why did you ever hit her? Can you imagine? How horrible would that have been? What kind of lesson would that have been? He said, because you don't hit people. People don't hit people, and men never hit women. That's not what I can tell, but I just am saying if there's a woman that should get a whipping, it's her. She definitely deserves one. Oh, it shit hurt me. I'd have gotten a whipping myself. Probably through my dad. Because my dad was like, look, I love you the most in the world, kid, but that's my wife. So if one of you goes down, it's going to be you. It's not fair. Oh, my goodness.
Hey, nothing. Hey, I'm glad that you were able to.
Me too, and even if I did scare away everybody else because I talked entirely too much.
Don't worry about it. I am going to have my usual broadcast tonight at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. If you want to, you can come on
I will try to be there. And
I'll
I'll try
have.
to shut up for most of it.
Oh no, not a problem, not a problem. Um, if you wanna come on to, because I usually do mines to restream, and and restream doesn't work well with TikTok, so I'll have simultaneous up.
Okay.
If you wanna contribute with the conversation, I'll just let me know and I'll put the link in the TikTok. Otherwise, you can
Okay.
go to my Instagram, which I said is DFG USL, the number 4, the letter U.
Before the letter U, and
And you can look for
did you say EMGE?
no
The first E.
DFG
Okay.
for Dr. Feelgood. That's why
Oh
the
yeah,
doctor is in.
I love that name. That's my
That-
favorite.
That's that's the name that I use. I just say DFG for short. I'm also on YouTube at DELITE, the number 7, DFG.
DELITE. Oh, the number 7. DMG one.
DFG, DELITE, the number 7, DFG.
Okay.
That's my YouTube page,
Okay.
and you can go Andre Golden. You'll see the picture where it says DFG on it. That's my Facebook page. So I got Facebook Live, I got Instagram Live, I got YouTube Live, and I have TikTok Live.
You know, I have all those. I don't have lives, but I have all of those things. And do you know what I use them for? To stalk my children and grandchildren. And when my granddaughter puts on something that looks like something that I would have worn at her age, then I say, "Who said you could wear that? Isn't that too short? Why is that? Why do I see your name? Why is that necessary?" She goes, "Don't even try it, me, Ma. I've seen your pictures from."
I know how that. Trust me, I definitely know how
I
that
said,
goes.
"But it's different because you're my baby,
Exactly.
and I was a grown up when I was 17." So
That's the way. That's what we tell them all. That's
Yeah.
what we tell them all. Say when you get a certain age, you can do what you want. Then you still gotta say, nah. Why are you wearing that? You don't need to wear
my
that.
son just turned 28 yesterday, and I called him at midnight and sang happy birthday to him like he was a little boy.
Oh, really? My youngest son turned 28 on the 4th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, we have things in common that are so bizarre. They're my long lost twin brother from Loudoun County, Virginia. That's really wild. You said that's where I am. I was like, no, he's not right here.
That's what's up though. But I'm gonna cut this one because
Okay.
I gotta prepare for my nighttime show.
And then you have dinner. That might be a good idea.
Yeah, it'd be good to eat, but I'll be all right though. Hey, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the
Thank you. I'm so glad I finally got
Be a
chance
stranger.
to.
Do not be a stranger. Just be strange.
It's good that you allow that because that works well for me.
All right, I'm good. Have a
Take care.
wonderful,
I'll talk to you.
wonderful, wonderful day, and hopefully I see you at 8:30.
Yeah, I'm going to try to be there.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.